Hello dear friends and welcome to Little Readers Rwanda. Today we are reading about an interesting real-life hero from a powerful country. This country is no other than the United States of America, and the hero we'll be reading about is the man who led it for the first time. A long time ago, when America was just starting to become its own country, the people chose George Washington to be their very first president. He was a strong and brave leader who helped the country win its freedom. Many admired him because he was honest, hardworking, and cared deeply about the people he led. Washington served as president for 8 years. Today, America has had many presidents since George Washington. In just a few days, the people of America will choose their 49th president. Just like in George Washington's time, they will pick someone to lead the country and make important decisions for everyone. Let's explore more about the life of this real-life hero. Who was George Washington? George Washington was the first president of the United States. He was a farmer, a soldier, and a hero. He helped America become a free country. Growing up, George was born on the February 22nd, 1732 on a farm in Virginia to a large family. He spent much of his time with his older brother Lawrence. Lawrence lived on a plantation called Mount Vernon. He was an army officer. George wanted to be just like him. Teaching himself. When George was 11, his father died. He had to stop going to school to help at home, but George read a lot and taught himself. When he was 17, he got a job measuring land to make maps. George was brave and strong. He was very good at riding horses. This helped him become a great soldier a few years later, becoming a leader. In 1700, America was not yet United States of America. It began just as 13 colonies, ruled by King George in England. People came on ships to live in America. They wanted more freedom than the king would give them in England. In his time, many things were very different in the 1700s. Many colonists lived on farms and built most of their own houses and furniture. They used homemade candles to light their rooms. Food. Most people grew their own vegetables such as squash and peas. They hunted animals such as rabbits for meat. Staying in touch. There were no telephones. People used feather pens and ink to write long letters. The letters took weeks to reach the other person. Chores and school. Children helped with farm chores. Most children did not go to school. They learned to read and write at home. Mount Vernon. Sadly, when George was 20, his brother Lawrence died. Later, George became the owner of Mount Vernon. In the 1759, George married Martha. They were happy together at Mount Vernon. The making of a hero. In the 1760s, there was a trouble coming. King George made the colonists pay extra money for tea and other supplies they needed. The colonists did not think it was fair. They were angry. They wanted freedom from England. They asked George Washington to lead the American army against the British army. War and peace. The Revolutionary War started in 1775. The British thought they would win. They had more men and supplies. American soldiers didn't have enough food or warm clothes, but they would do almost anything for freedom. In the 1776, American leaders signed the Declaration of Independence. It said America had a right to be free and make its own rules. The British didn't agree. They sent more troops to fight. For 8 long years, the war went on. The British were tired of fighting a war far from home. The British were beginning to run out of supplies and money. Finally, they gave up in the 1783. America had won its freedom. The very first president. How would this new country work in the 1787? Men from each state came together to write the new rules for the United States. They called these rules the Constitution. Then they had to choose a new leader. George Washington was elected the first president of the United States in the 1789. It was a big job to unite the new country. After 8 years as president, George gave up his power. He was happy to go home to Mount Vernon again. He had many visitors. He rode his horses every day. In December 1799, George got sick with a bad sore throat. There was no medicine in his time to cure. He was 67 years old when he died. In his honor, George Washington was greatly loved. He was the only president to have the state named after him. His face is on the dollar bill, the quarters, and U.S. postage stamp. Thank you for joining us to learn about George Washington, America's first leader and true hero of his time. We hope this story inspires you to be brave, honest, and kind, just like he was. Thank you for watching.